This is Duke University.
Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please stand. On behalf of the faculty and staff, I present to you the Fuqua School of Business Cross-Continent Class of 2015, the Weekend Executive Class of 2015, and the Global Executive Class of 2016. everyone please be seated? Yes. We now have the answer to the question of how many MBAs does it take to figure out where everyone sits. So, I'm Bill Bolding. I'm the Dean of the Fuqua School of Business. It's my great privilege to represent and serve this community. And in my opinion, every day at the Fuqua School of Business is a great day. But today is an especially wonderful day, a day of joy, a day of celebration, and a day to recognize all of these incredible graduates who have done so much and will do so much in the future. This day is about you, but there are a lot of us here that want to share in your joy and have been a part of your journey to date. And so I want to thank the people who have come together today to make this possible. First, I so appreciate all the people that are here with us, the friends and the family who can share in the celebration, because I'm sure they've also shared in the hard work and the support that these graduates have needed along the way. I'd also like to thank the faculty who have taught these students in these different programs for giving you the guidance and the insight that hopefully will stand you well for years to come. The staff who've worked tirelessly to support you along that path and who care so deeply about your experience. And finally, I'd like to represent some of your these student representatives who have represented and served you so effectively, to coordinate class activities, to represent the class's views and opinions and beliefs to faculty and staff, to provide leadership, and to create special events that have made your experience that much better. If I could ask those class representatives to please stand. At this point, I'd like to turn things over to John Gallagher, who is the Associate Dean for all of the Executive MBA programs, and John will facilitate the next part of the program. John?
Thank you, Bill. Good morning to you all. The cross-continent weekend executive and global executive classes have spent many, many hours under the tutelage of the Fuqua faculty. And now, to begin our celebration, it gives me pleasure to introduce you to Caitlin Rose Chrisman, who will make the presentation of the Excellence in Teaching Awards on behalf of the cross-continent class of 2015.
Thank you, John. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all for being here because we certainly could not have done this without everyone that's in this room. So thank you again. At the #1 business school in the country, you can expect that we have spent countless hours under the tutelage of an amazing faculty here at Fuqua. And I'd like to thank each and every one of our professors for investing time, energy, and dedication to teaching us by traveling to 4 different countries, giving up their Saturday mornings to give regular WebEx sessions, and by responding to emails at ungodly hours of the night endlessly. Today, I have the privilege of introducing and recognizing 2 professors for their knowledge, passion, and energy that they bring into the classroom every single day. Professor Jeremy Petranka not only taught us how to scientifically understand cultural differences, but he went out of his way to facilitate open and honest dialogue outside of class so that we could fully gain a deeper understanding of the culture, not only from the country, but from each other. In the classroom, his energy consisted of the excessive use of jazz hands and constant pacing back and forth in front of the classroom so that he tripped himself more often than not, regularly. But we certainly paid attention. Most importantly, Jay empowered each and every one of us to pursue our dreams and to strive for excellence. It was evident that he cared very deeply not only for our education, but also for our own personal growth and confidence. On behalf of the cross-continent class of 2015, thank you, Jay, for teaching us how to embrace and celebrate differences. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Jay for the Teaching and Excellence Award.
I don't have PowerPoint behind me. My hands are glued to this podium and I cannot pace back and forth, so I'm going to keep this short and probably uncomfortable. This is honestly a high watermark in my career because of what I think of your class. You made me viscerally understand what the promise of the MBA program is. I remember when I was first looking through your bios, getting ready for the class, I actually told my wife, I'm like, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to teach them. It is amazing the caliber of students you were, and then when I got there, having 100+ just leaders teach each other and help each other and support each other, it was like nothing I've ever seen. And the fact that you let me into your memories, you let me into your joy, you let me into your Joan Baez sing-alongs, I will forever be thankful for that. And from the bottom of my heart, I am so proud of you. I am so looking forward to see you take over the world, and thank you.
Congrats again, Jay. Throughout your MBA experience, you realize that there's a really strong emphasis on learning not just the technical skills, but also those really soft skills that will help you be successful in your life and your career. Things like how to network the right way, what should you wear, how should you interview. I used to think that negotiating was a soft skill and something that other people were born to do better than others. But Professor Ashley Rosette taught us that negotiations is a science that can not only be learned, but also mastered with practice. Professor Rosette's enthusiasm for the subject, combined with her advice for students on their own personal negotiations outside of class, made interactions lively and informative. Thank you, Ashley, for helping us increase our BATNA in all future negotiations to come. Please join me in congratulating Ashley Rosette on our 4th Teaching and Excellence Award for the CCMBA class.
Hi, everyone. This award is a source of so much pride for me. I am so proud of my students. I am so proud of what you have accomplished in class as well as outside of class. I think, but most importantly, I am most proud of what I know you will accomplish. Today is it's a celebration of all that you have done in your program, but it really does represent a milestone. And so the challenge now is, what am I going to do next? What's going to come next? One of the things that Jordan says is, he says that you have to earn your leadership every single day. So when you walk out those doors and that morning comes, you ask yourself, how am I going to earn my leadership today? When the day ends, you ask yourself, how am I going to earn my leadership today? At breakfast this morning, our speaker shared with us his new startup, and the foundation of it is the group. And here at Fuqua, we talk about the importance of being a leader of consequence, but that means our leadership has consequences. So I encourage you to earn your leadership every day, and I'm so very proud of you. Thank you so much.
Now I would like to introduce Suresh Kumar Alapati Venkata, who will make the presentation of the Excellence in Teaching Awards on behalf of the Weekend Executive Class of 2015.
Thank you, John. Good morning. When I'm coming here, I've been told you need to speak loud so that everyone can hear you. And I'm sure after seeing all of you, I don't think I need to speak loud. The loudness comes out of me automatically. So I'm here to present 2 Excellence in Teaching Awards to the weekend executive class professors. My dad is a math professor, and he always used to say, I'll read it in his words, the depth of our learning is directly proportional to the difficult problems we solve. I always used to say, no, it can't be true. But in past few years, I realized it is really true. And in that note, I would like to thank all of our professors for being tough on us and making us push our limits. And we realized how far we can go based on that thing. And our professors create an engaging and empowering classroom environment for which we're all thankful for. And to start with, I want to introduce our statistics professor. Just one statement from the class. That is the first and only class where the entire class is awake, including our sleeping beauties. So which is like, that itself shows how much energy he brought into the classroom and the life enthusiasm. One more statement which our classmates mentioned is he has positive and lasting impact on students with his great energy, passion, and humor. And here are a few things which we all swear that we'll remember. The warm calling list, the soap licking, God's Excel sheet, the central limit theorem, the formula only Germans remember. Would you like to bet on your life? And above all, the meaningful use of the word blah. So without further ado, I would like to present the Excellence in Teaching Award on behalf of WEMBA 15 to Professor Sasha Package.
Thank you very much. I'm very humbled and honored, and I want to say that this also belongs to you, because without you, I could not teach you that well. And also not just you, but all of my fellow faculty and the staff who make all these things happen. So, I don't know what I should do after those speeches. I can only pull out the Excel table or something. So I just want to say congratulations to all, and I'll see you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sasha. Next, I want to introduce our corporate finance professor. A few statements from the class. He demonstrates tireless commitment, rigor, and dedication. His calm and engaging style made everyone in the class participate fully. He provided record response time on all our questions, which gave us an almost around-the-clock finance support. He's well organized, very well prepared for the class of any kind of students. Just one quick moment which everyone who took his class would remember. I mean, they will remember till the last breath. It's on Sunday, September the 20th, 11:15 a.m., the very first minute of our term 6 in Dansby classroom. We're all waiting and we were all thinking that this is term 6. It's so easy. It'll be done. And then suddenly we noticed professor coming and taking out an unusual teaching aid, a baseball bat. Yes, you're hearing it right. It's the yellow baseball bat, and he uses it as a pointer. So we were like, I'm sure this is going to be tough. And we all were wondering how he managed it during the WebEx sessions. And we were imagining WebEx session, he's using the baseball bat to point to the laptop. So on a lighter note, I think that is the reason why he has very less pushback in his class to whatever concepts he mentioned. So I would like to present the Excellence in Teaching Award to Professor Simon Gervais for his corporate finance.
Thank you so much. First, congratulations to all of you. One thing I want to clarify is it's a wiffle ball bat, so it's not a real bat. So thank you for the award, but thank you mainly to this class for their open-mindedness and intellectual curiosity. Why am I mentioning that? Well, when you teach a course where people realize that the information you're providing to them will be useful in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and they're willing to accept that and work with you on that, it creates a much, much richer and fuller set of information. It allows me to paint the real picture for what this material is about. And this is what this class has allowed me to do. So thank you for doing that for me. More personally, this group has reminded me what I came into this business for. So this communication of knowledge and being challenged, so people did participate in class and pushed me, and that also creates a much better learning environment and a much better course ultimately. So thank you for all of this. What I want to say ultimately is that this group has created a positive NPV experience for me, and I want to thank you for that and for this award. Congratulations once again.
And now, I'd like to introduce Nathan Scott Smith, who will present the Excellence in Teaching Award on behalf of the Global Executive Class of 2016.
Good morning. I'm honored to present the Excellence in Teaching Award on behalf of the 2016 Global Executive Class. Each year, the graduating class is asked to reflect upon and vote for the faculty member who had the greatest impact on us. Now, on the surface, this sounds simple, but as all of us know, Fuqua's outstanding faculty is consistently ranked among the best in the world, and we were lucky enough to have several phenomenal professors. However, there was one faculty member that stood above the rest. This professor was dedicated to a strict adherence to clear, concise communication, and was able to deftly steer the chaotic nature of our class discussion to stay on topic and, amazingly, on time. Discussing subjects as complicated as foreign direct investment in India to as simple as the definition of efficiency, the professor's classroom was always engaging and a pleasure to experience. Through this course, we were presented with a new lens with which to view the complications of international commerce and institutions. And through complex issue analysis, we were challenged to evaluate motivating factors for competing viewpoints and consider the cultural bias and historical events or path dependence leading to the current state of the world. This method of critical thinking provides us with a strong basis for informed decision-making, a skill that we will all benefit from throughout our careers. I know for my part, I'll never look at a t-shirt the same way again. Now, this faculty member is no stranger to excellence. Some of the notable achievements and accolades of the professor include having served as a president of the American Accounting Association, being inducted to the Accounting Hall of Fame, and serving as a board member of the U.S. Financial Accounting Standards Board, the FASB. Now, by now, for all of you that have been reading your programs, and with that introduction, I'm sure that most of you know who I'm talking of. And so without further ado, I'm honored to announce that the recipient of the Excellence in Teaching Award for the 2016 Global Executive Class is the Thomas F. Keller Professor of Business Administration, Dr. Catherine Schipper.
Well, okay, and Nathan, I'm glad to see you brought the camera. Thank you so very much for this award. I am delighted that you chose our course, Global Markets and Institutions, for this honor. I particularly want to thank the MBA program staff, without which nothing could possibly happen with this spinal course across 4 terms, And I want to thank my colleague, Jeremy Petranka, for a lot of useful discussions, including this. Most of all, I want to thank you, the Global Program class, for bringing energy and focus to our discussions of how and why property rights and the rules of commerce matter. They really do matter at all times and everywhere. I thank you also for enlightening and enriching our discussions by bringing your own professional experiences in class and out of class discussions, and for challenging yourselves and me throughout the course. You made our course intellectually alive, and for that I thank you. Congratulations and my very best wishes to all in the Fuqua School of Business Global Executive MBA class of 2016. Thank you.
I would like to present Samuel Shu-Wei Lin from the Cross-Continent class of 2015, Stephanie Grace Vanderpool from the Weekend Executive class of 2015, and Jennifer Jacqueline Preston from the Global Executive class of 2016. These students will present Dean Boulding with a consolidated class gift on behalf of all three cohorts.
Thank you. I'm honored to stand here today on behalf of the Executive MBA programs to present the class gift. 2 years ago, we began our Fuqua journey as students on Duke's beautiful campus. Through our journey, we have gathered knowledge on accounting, economics, global markets, marketing, leadership domains, cultures, and teamwork. We were inspired and guided and encouraged to face new challenges on our journey by distinguished faculty, the program staff, our families, and our cohorts. Today, as we achieve our goal of an MBA in this amazing Cameron Indoor Stadium, we are reminded that even though we are transferring from students to alumni, that we are still part of the Duke team and the Duke family. So, as alumni, it is our responsibility to maintain the success of the Fuqua program and to pay it forward to future students. In the spirit of Team Fuqua, we have one check proudly showing our first sign of support of willingness to not only invest in our experiences, but in those that follow us as well. Thanks to all the students for your selfless generosity to assure the Fuqua School of Business stays at the top. So, on behalf of the Cross-Continent class of 2015, the Weekend Executive class of 2015, and 100% of the Global Executive class of 2016, we present this check to Dean Boulding of $39,805.
I love big checks. Thank you all so much. And what I appreciate so deeply is all of your classes have given so much to each other and invested so deeply in making sure you got the most of your experience. And yet, you are also investing in those who will follow you. Thank you for your willingness to think about the people who represent our future. Thank you.
Thank you to all of the classes for your tremendous financial contributions to the Fuqua School of Business. I would now like to introduce the class speaker for the Cross-Continent class of 2015, Kishore Nagula.
So 2 years ago to this date, I received an email from the Fuqua Admissions Committee letting me know that I'd been admitted to this program. And like a lot of us here, I was ecstatic. But what some of you don't know is I thought this would never happen. See, I'd been rejected from business school 3 separate times, in 2009, 2010, and 2012. So if I get a little emotional being up here, you know why. When I applied into the Fuqua's Cross-Continent program, I knew I was going to get a world-class education from Business Week's top-ranking MBA program. And I knew I'd get a chance to visit some cool countries, but I didn't quite know how unique this experience would be. I couldn't have told you 2 years later I'd be up here with all of my classmates here who I've learned so much from, a changed person. See, we had a chance to explore the world and in turn explore ourselves. During the 16 months that we traveled together, I had a chance to witness 5 modern wonders of the world, one of which was being a game here in Cameron. While experiencing and exploring the sights, sounds, and smells, and awkward experiences like trying to decipher local languages to figure out which bathroom was for the men and which bathroom was for the women in the countries that we explored and checked out. I was able to have this experience courtesy of our classmates who played host to us in the countries that we traveled to. They were the perfect and consummate cultural ambassadors to us who opened up their experiences and the Rolodex of life to us. And so for that, I'm forever grateful and thankful. Why is this important? Because I think that these experiences, facilitated by Fuqua, have strengthened our commitment to this program, but also strengthened our commitment to each other. These experiences like tobogganing down the Great Wall of China, or seeing the perfect manifestation of love in the Taj Mahal, or hiking up the perilously steep steps in Huayna Picchu for a breathtaking view of Machu Picchu, or getting sweaty palms while in a hot air balloon in Cappadocia, or cheering like crazy when a Afreen won the startup competition. These are the experiences that will forever tie us together. So alongside this geographic exploration was a personal journey that we all needed to discover in order to figure out how in the world were we going to survive this crash course, this academic crash course of 2 years of academic curriculum condensed into a 60-month adrenaline rush. In order to survive, we had to make some personal decisions, some personal choices that took on different shapes and sizes. For some, that shape took on a more oblong shape, given 16 months of health and nutritional neglect. For others, it took on a more sentimental and more personal exploration and a more personal sacrifice, like delaying the start of a family, or starting a family, or holding back on a career, in our professional ambitions. But underpinning all of this was the foundational support that we were able to receive by our partners, by our family, by our friends, and by our classmates. Once we achieved this Maslowian foundation, this foundational level of business skills, we then had the chance to explore academically and intellectually. That pursuit came in many different forms. For some, it came outside of the classroom. Where I remember hearing the story where Tony Wang, who I don't know had visited the US before, wanted to challenge his preconceived notion about American culture by jumping in traffic in Durham just to see if Americans were as considerate as he had heard they were to be. And thankfully they were. And then we also had the academic exploration, where some of us fell in love with new academic topics, like when Claire fell in love with marketing, when Mark fell in love with accounting, and Fred fell in love with Camila. So to conclude, I'd like to steal a line from Sandeep, who so artfully captured our sentiment in an extraordinarily abstruse finance lecture. So what? What's the point of this experience? And I think we had 3 different things that came out of this. I think for one, we all fattened our social media profiles with more LinkedIn connections, more Facebook friends, and more Twitter followers. But for 2, we had a chance to really engage in this really cool and unrivaled academic experience, where we had the opportunity to take what we learned directly in the classroom and apply it into a professional setting. And then 3, we kind of got a flavor of what we needed to learn in order to succeed in this interconnected world, where you could be based in Boston and do a majority of your work in Taipei like Sam, or be based in Mexico and do a lot of your work in an airplane like Yvonne, that you need this new set of interpersonal skills to succeed. And these interpersonal skills are important for us to get a sense of humility, a capacity for empathy, and a willingness to explore the unexplored. So, to my 105 classmates, when we started this journey 2 years ago, I didn't know what kind of relationship we would have with each other. I feared we'd have kind of a transactional relationship where we would study, work, and then help each other on tests and stuff. Help each other study for tests. Let's clarify that. Help each other study for tests. But little did I know that relationships would evolve into something more profound, almost like a family. So to my latest additions to my family, I want to say congratulations.
Thank you, Kishore. Now I would like to introduce the class speaker for the weekend executive class of 2015, J. Blake Long.
Dean Boulding, Dean Gallagher, distinguished faculty and staff, fellow graduates, family and friends, welcome. It is an honor to stand before you as we celebrate our arrival to this place and time. Although it seems like only yesterday, more than 2 years ago, we were all preparing to start this journey, a journey of questions. Why go to business school and why attend Fuqua? As we began to get acquainted as a class, we shared a myriad of answers: job change, career development, personal growth. The answers came from as far away as Russia, from diverse backgrounds in business, the professions, and even a fighter pilot. However, in coming to Fuqua, we all took big risks with consequences for both our jobs and our relationships with colleagues, friends, and families. To all, we say thank you for your sacrifices to get us to this day. Upon our arrival, we were confronted with many questions, including the challenge to ask ourselves, who are you and why are you here? Some of us knew the answer, or at least thought we did. Some of us suddenly had no idea. All of us were about to find out, and over the next 18 months, I believe we each discovered the answers in our own way. And the questions kept coming. What is the key driver of GDP growth? Is an account receivable a credit or a debit? What is the Nash equilibrium? Some really fun stuff. For families and friends, let me share with you some of the valuable knowledge we have gained in our new MBA degree. We learned the difficulties of managing a beer supply chain through a game, how to use a crystal ball to run a wine business, strategies for starting a craft brewery, marketing toilet paper, cost accounting for boxes and bicycles, and nerding out the probabilities inherent in choosing M&M colors. All very high-powered business concepts. To relieve the stress of this work, we developed our athletic prowess with fantasy football, trivia, ping pong, cornhole, cricket, and the new sport of gingerbread house belly flopping. All culminating in hoops on Coach K court in this very building. Along the way, we closed for the evening more than a few local drinking establishments. At about the halfway point, buried somewhere in term 3, the initial questions of who are you and why are you here were replaced by what was I thinking? The answer resides in yet another question that was asked in, of all places, statistics. And that profound question was, would you bet your life on it? Would you bet your life on it? In some way, we all did, risking a lot and betting our futures on this place and each other, Team Fuqua. We discovered new personal strengths, exposed our weaknesses, and solved difficult challenges. We learned leadership and utilized the power of teamwork. So I conclude with one new question. Will you take bold risks again? I would encourage all of you to answer yes. Many of us have experienced some big life transitions recently, and it may be easy to now settle on these accomplishments. Yet, as the old man in the class, I would say it is never too late to take a risk, to seek new opportunities, to grow, and to change. We can rest assured that what we have learned and the friendships that we have developed while at Fuqua are for life and will support us in the future. Would you bet your life on it? I bet mine on each of you and you. You all came through. I'm forever grateful. Congratulations, WIMBA class of 2015.
Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce the class speaker for the Global Executive Class of 2016, Suresh Kumar Lakampal.
Good morning, team. Thank you. What a great day. On behalf of the Global Executive MBA 2016 class, I would like to thank the distinguished faculty and staff of Fuqua and our wonderful families and friends for joining us today for this celebration. Over the past 15 months, my 25 classmates and I have had an extraordinary experience through this Gemba program. This program is more than just getting an MBA. It doesn't matter if you came in as a rising executive, CEO, consultant, or even a doctor. This program will change you forever. Fuqua knows what they are doing. They somehow convinced us, a group of smart executive overachievers from all over the world, that we could receive an MBA from one of the best business schools by just adding classwork to our already stressful day jobs. And even better, compounding the rate, and that's business school talk, compounding the rate of learning by compressing all the coursework into 15 months. They sold us on the sexy idea of being able to travel the world for these residencies. Somehow glossed over the fact that while we're gone, our work continued to pile up. And oh, by the way, we gave up every Saturday morning for 15 months to study, and truthfully, most evenings during the week. But look, Fuqua does know what it's doing. This program is not just about accounting or finance or any single class, but through its design, it is about learning about the power of teamwork. No single person can juggle all the work we are given, have a career, and spend any time with family and friends. Impossible until you learn how to use a team. Through our small teams, we all learn that we can achieve what seemed unattainable. We all learn for us to be better, we have to make each other better. That is the lesson of Fuqua. We walk away with vivid shared memories, common threads from this experience. These include great classes and professors, sights such as the bustle of Istanbul's bazaars or rickshaw rides through Delhi, just to name a few. But the collage of experiences that bind us together is much deeper than that. And here are a few I think will resonate for my team. 15 months of feeling like you didn't sleep enough. We learned that there was always more to read, that optional reading meant mandatory reading, and you always showed up on time for Dr. Shipper's class. We encountered Sakai, and for the uninformed, that is not a character from Star Trek. Instead, it's more like the electronic version of Where's Waldo that we use to search for class information. We will never forget the true hospitality in India at Nikhil's house or the Panamanian generosity of the Castillos. We will all remember supposed 3-hour exams that took the entire 24 hours. Phrases like clean finish, Korean airline pilots, WhatsApp messages that made you giggle, and learning time and time again that Peru is the center of civilization. These are just a few of the experiences that might not make the Fuqua website, but will be indelible imprints on all of us. We take with us wonderful memories, and most importantly, have created friendships that will span the world. In closing, we leave Duke remembering our teams, whether they are our small teams like Super Cinco or the larger team like the entire class. But our team is more than the Gemba class. It includes all of you. Without you, the faculty, the staff, and our families and friends, without your love and support, this day would not be possible. So from the Gemba 16 class, thanks to all of you for being on our team. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all the student speakers for their great remarks. And it's now my great pleasure to introduce our graduation speaker. When we look for a graduation speaker, we have an extremely high bar. We look for someone who has had interesting life experiences that can help you as you think about your future. We look for someone who's had remarkable accomplishments to hold up as a role model for what's possible in your own careers. We look for someone who's done things the right way, who has values consistent with who we are and the ideas of Team Fuqua. And we especially like it if the person has a Duke connection. Now, our speaker meets all those criteria, but let me start with the last first. The Duke connection is, in this instance, not as strong as perhaps we would like. And I worry a little bit about that banner up there from 1992, which reminds him that his university, the University of Michigan, lost to Duke in the national championship game. And so Dick actually comes from Michigan. However, he's been brought into the Fuqua community by one of our alums, Josh Felser, who is here today to heckle. And we hope that we keep Dick close into the Fuqua community because he is such an extraordinary human being. If you ask the question, has he had interesting experiences, this is someone who has done really unusual things throughout the course of his career. So he graduates with a degree in computer science and makes the decision to pursue a career as an improv person, as a stand-up comedian, and invests 7 years of his life in that activity. And then decides, I've got to get a day job to pay for that passion. And in the course of that, discovers there's this thing going on with the internet, and people in my firm don't really seem to understand the opportunities. And that pushed him into the entrepreneurial space, where he had a number of successful startups. The one activity that he's probably best known for is he moved into a role with Twitter, first as the chief operating officer and then the CEO of Twitter. When he chose to step down from Twitter, the reaction was very interesting, and I'll never forget reading an interview that he did where the interviewer was saying things and Dick replied, "You're acting like I'm dead. I'm not done here." And in fact, he's not done. If you look at what he's now doing, he's just finished putting a season of Silicon Valley in the books, which is probably the world's funniest TV show. And as an insider in Silicon Valley, I think he had a lot to contribute to that show. And so he went back to some of his roots, his comedic roots. At the same time, he's moved into the venture capital world as a partner at Index Ventures. And quietly, he has started a new business. And so he is the CEO of Chorus, which, stay tuned, will reshape the world of health and fitness through the lens of what you can do with technology. And so it gives me great pleasure to introduce someone who has amazing wisdom and is someone who does things the right way. He has remarkable humility for someone who is so accomplished, and his passion is to make the people around him better and to make a difference through his actions. So Dick, if you could please join us here.
A couple of years ago, my assistant at Twitter comes into my office and she says, the White House would like you to come to the Roosevelt Room on Friday and talk to the president about the way the security infrastructure in the country should work with companies in Silicon Valley. All the Snowden stuff was going on at the time. And I looked at her and I said, "Just me? Why just me?" And she said, no, it's going to be a group of a bunch of people from Silicon Valley. It's going to be you and Reed Hastings and Brian Roberts from Comcast and Cheryl from Facebook and Marissa from Yahoo, on and on. So I said, okay, let's make sure we do it. Obviously, we have to do that. And so I get there, I've never been in the White House before, and it's much, much smaller than you would think it is. And I get into the Roosevelt room, and there's like 10 of us. And it's, again, all these people I've mentioned, and Eric Schmidt, and Tim Cook, and Randall Stevenson, just around this small table. So it's really intimidating. And the president walks in and asks us all to sit down. And unfortunately, he asks me the first question. And like an idiot, I answer him directly and as honestly as I can. And then he turns to another one of the executives, who's one of the more sophisticated and respected executives in our industry, and says, "What do you think?" And the person says, "First of all, Mr. President, I'd just like to thank you for having us all here today. We know how important this topic is to you, and we're glad to know that you realize how important this," and I said, "Stop. I meant to say all that." Please continue. And so with that, I'd like to start by thanking the dean, all of the faculty here, the university for having me, these guys with the bright electric blue pants on that will make sure you don't fall asleep if I get boring during my remarks. And now, just before I begin my prepared remarks, I'd like to ask all the infants in the room to please be silent. Congratulations, sincere congratulations on graduating from one of the most respected institutions in the world. You have worked extremely hard, and you have earned the right to rest on your laurels through tomorrow afternoon. You sit before all of us, poised to be the next generation of experts in business. But what I would like you to consider for the next few minutes is that perhaps we have enough experts, and what we really need are better leaders. What you do next is obviously going to set you on that path. And I'm going to tell you a couple things that may seem like contradictory advice about these next steps. You both want to be intentional about your own narrative and make sure that what you do fits the arc of your story, but you also have to realize that you have lots of time and you don't have to do everything at once. And so I'll talk a little bit about these seemingly contradictory pieces of advice. The thing that you can't see from your side of the timeline, with one or two exceptions possibly, is that after 2 or 3 choices down the road, after 2 or 3 forks in the road, you will have far fewer available paths ahead of you than you do now. So it's extremely important that your choices are a strong reflection of that which intrigues or excites you about the world. As Leslie Odom Jr., the actor who plays Aaron Burr in the Broadway hit Hamilton, says about the way he attacked his opportunity to get the part, you have to walk toward the choices that make you feel alive. And I like that he used the term walk instead of run. You want to be sure that your choices are based on values and beliefs that serve you. This way forward will set you up for a meaningful life and benefit society at the same time. The arc of your career, whatever it may be, should serve as a reflection of these intentional and thoughtful choices, not just the thing that's going to be making you the most money, which I assure you is a hollow goal. Now, believe me, I get it. I totally get it that having somebody up here who's made a lot of money telling you it's not about the money is a real eye roller. I totally get that. But I'm telling you that when your day-to-day work is a reflection of doing what you love, you become resilient. And that is one of the most powerful leadership characteristics you can possibly hope to embody, and I'll talk more about that in a bit. Secondly, as you think about the narrative of your career, remember, importantly, I don't have to accomplish everything at once. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright visited Twitter a couple of times, and on one visit she spent like an hour with a number of our emerging leaders in the company. And one particularly ambitious young manager in the company asked her what advice she would give to anybody who wanted to eventually start their own company. And Secretary Albright's advice was simply, life is long. You don't need to accomplish everything at once. And if there's anybody who can deliver that message with authority, it's Secretary Albright, who can speak and read 6 different languages, is the chair of her own company, has served as Secretary of State, as the US Ambassador to the United Nations, is an accomplished author, has her PhD from Columbia, and started her career as the picture editor of Encyclopedia Britannica in her mid-20s. So be patient with yourself if you're happy with the choices you've made, but never let yourself get comfortable in any daily routine that seems detached from your interests and your values. When you find yourself in these situations, you have to extricate yourself from them as quickly as possible. And I know this may seem like obvious advice, yet I can assure you that I know very few people who have not admitted to staying in some job or some role or some reporting hierarchy for far too long because they felt that either it was what they were supposed to do or because they felt there would be long-term financial reward for their day-to-day unhappiness and misery. When I got my Bachelor of Science degree in computer science from Michigan, as the dean said, I decided to move to Chicago and pursue improv comedy. Because acting class and doing stand-up were the things that I had the most fun doing my junior and senior year at Michigan. And I performed in a number of different improv groups in Chicago, Second City and the Annoyance Theater for years, and just took odd jobs around town so I could get by. And so here I was with a CS degree from this great school, banner notwithstanding. And I ended up taking a job at one point as a coat check guy in a nightclub in town because we were rehearsing during the day and I couldn't have a day job. And so a guy in my graduating class from Michigan walks into this nightclub one night, checks his coat without looking up. And I look at him and I say, "Hey Doug, how's it going?" And he looks up and he didn't say anything, but he had this expression on his face that was like, "Wow, what happened?" And so there's an example for you of both pieces of advice. I didn't do what was expected of me or what I thought I was supposed to do next. I chose a path forward that was true to my interests and my values, and despite doing improv in Chicago for many years, more than 7, I still had plenty of time to found 3 internet media companies, sell one of them to Google, work there for a couple of years and learn a tremendous amount, and then become COO and eventually CEO of one of the most exciting companies in the world in 2010. And because I spent all those years improvising, I was always comfortable jumping up on stage and speaking extemporaneously in front of the entire company or other large groups. By following a path that was true to my interests and values, I became resilient. And what I mean by that is when you're doing what you love and things go wrong, as they inevitably will, the next steps and decisions will come more naturally to you. On the other hand, if you're pursuing hollow goals or the path you believe you are supposed to follow, and events take a turn for the unexpected, as they inevitably will, you are more likely to freeze or stumble or shy away from whatever's happening. Now, people talk about leadership all the time, but I'd like to give you just a quick couple thoughts about what make a great leader from my observations over the last several years. And it's really simple. Grace and courage are the 2 attributes that make a great leader. Grace is confidence and honesty without being a jerk. Graceful leaders are kind without being weak, and they are focused and calm and have a sense of humor in the face of adversity. Courage is not just making bold choices, it's making those choices especially when you know you will be beaten up for them long before anybody knows whether the decision was right or wrong. Courageous leaders will take a bullet for their team, They welcome challenges, criticisms, and viewpoints other than their own. They have a boundless curiosity about new ideas. They are never in reaction, meaning they never say, how could this happen? Instead, they create opportunities and set the conditions for their success. These may seem like abstractions: grace, courage, resilience. But you learn those things just by being present in the world and walking toward the choices that make you feel alive. I don't know how else to put it, but fortunately, we have Winston Churchill on the subject, who's much more articulate on the matter of expertise and leadership. And Winston Churchill says, expert knowledge, however indispensable, is no substitute for a generous and comprehending outlook upon the human story with all its sadness and all its unquenchable hope. I think about that Churchill remark when I recall multiple times at Twitter, many, when there was no roadmap for what we had to do. Complex legal matters is just one example. We would be asked to turn over information about private citizens by some government in some of the countries in which we operated, often through valid legal government requests. Or we would have to make extremely difficult decisions about whether some piece of content should be removed from the platform. I remember vivid discussions we had about images surrounding a graphic ISIS video that was being distributed on YouTube and Twitter. Video was a new addition to Twitter at the time, and our rules, while not yet clearly addressing the situation, and the instincts of many of our employees, were to prohibit the posting of the video and permanently suspend the users posting such violent imagery. It was a tough situation because at the same time we had the family members of the victims, government agencies, journalists, news organizations, and people around the world with different views. Some US news organizations distributed the images themselves on Twitter, and some family members of one of the victims asked that the images not be removed because people needed to see how horrific these things were. Other people, family members of the victims, government agencies, viewed the material as terrorist propaganda and demanded we take it down. So now what? If you rely on expertise alone, there's no roadmap. And let me tell you, the debates on these kinds of topics are heated and intense and emotional. So we as a leadership team had to take a comprehensive view of the human story, knowing that we were going to take a beating for it no matter what we decided, but consider all the ramifications and put a stake in the ground. During our IPO roadshow, I was constantly asked this question: why are you the CEO? No, that wasn't the question I asked. What are you going to do as CEO when the needs of your users conflict with the needs of the business? And I would always laugh when I got that question, and I would say, those are easy decisions. In fact, they almost never happen. What happens is, what do you do when the needs and rights of one group of users conflict directly with the needs and rights of another group of users? Those are the really tough decisions. I'd like to tell you one more story then that I hope will help you find the right path and the right narrative arc for your story. I was in a group discussion with the CEO of a remarkable company, and this is a CEO of one of the very few people in my industry who I believe is a world-class leader. And somebody asked this CEO, Steve Jobs always said that strategy was partly about what deciding not to do. How do you decide what not to do? And this CEO thought about it for like 1 second and looked right back at this person and said, I don't think about what not to do. I like to do everything. And he laughed and he said, seriously, my team has to talk me out of doing things because I think we should be doing more things. And the questioner started to follow up with, well, this book about Steve Jobs says, and this CEO just stopped the person right there and said, look, you had better realize sooner than later that there are many ways to be successful. The implication, of course, being that trying to follow somebody else's roadmap or path with partial information at that is probably the least likely way to be successful. So develop a generous and comprehending outlook upon the human story with all its sadness and all its unquenchable hope, and let that inform the choices that you make, and you will surely find yet another path to success. Thank you all, congratulations, and get some rest. The world is waiting for you.
So, Dick, thank you for showing all of us what it means to live a life with grace and courage through your words and through your choices. And we would like to recognize you with this gift. Thank you so much. We have a term for what it means to be a really great leader, and our accolade, our highest accolade, is leader of consequence, and Dick is truly a leader of consequence, so thank you so much again. With that, I'd like to turn things back over to John.
At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Fuqua Scholars from the Cross-Continent Class of 2015, the Weekend Executive Class of 2015, and the Global Executive Class of 2016. Throughout the work of the program, each of these students has worked hard in a very challenging academic environment. The successful completion of the MBA degree is an outstanding accomplishment. Each member of this class has balanced this program with a full-time position and a personal and family life. Today, we want to honor those who have not only completed the Cross-Continent, Weekend Executive, and Global Executive MBA programs, but have distinguished themselves through their academic performance. Fuqua Scholars are those students who graduate in the top 10% of their class. As we consider the quality of all of the members of this class, we can also reflect on the outstanding achievement of being designated a Fuqua Scholar. I'll read the names of the Fuqua Scholars alphabetically, and I would ask that as I read each name, that person stands in his or her place. I would also ask the audience to wait until we've read all of the names before indicating their support and congratulations. That will help us make sure that all the names can be heard. The Cross-Continent MBA Class of 2015 Fuqua Scholars are Marcus Aditya Adiwiyogo, Eric R. Anderson, Nicholas Adam Cox, Richard Troy Dye, Alexandra Eve Gold, Bruno Macera, Sohil Modi, Claire Joanna Mollering, Kelsey Owens Peterson, Christopher Allen Rotter, Michael Robert Sums, Zan Zhu. Please join me in congratulating the Cross-Continent Fuqua Scholars for their outstanding achievement. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce the Weekend Executive MBA Class of 2015 Fuqua Scholars, and they are Suresh Kumar Alapati Venkata, Gaurav Bansal, Lucas John Campbell, Daniel Allen Huenfeld, Jennifer Welker Jefferson, Rohit Lohan, Christian Tabit McCauley, Andrew James Owens, William John Piper III, Anita Sarkar, and Amit Vora. Please join me in congratulating the Weekend Executive students. Outstanding achievement. Now I would like to introduce the Global Executive MBA class of 2016 Fuqua Scholars. They are Leonard R. de Bruin, Rahul Sudhir Gotke, Christopher Matthew Sackno. Please join me in congratulating the Global Executive Fuqua Scholars for their outstanding achievement. Now it's time to individually recognize each of our graduates. Today we ask each of our graduates to come forward to be recognized and congratulated by Dean Boulding, Dick Costello, Jennifer Francis, myself, and the entire assembly that is gathered here today. At this time, I would like to ask Keith B. O'Hare, Program Manager for the Cross-Continent Class of 2015, to come forward and read the names of the Cross-Continent 2015 graduates. We ask that the graduates file up to the stage on your right, and as your name is called, please accept your scroll and our congratulations. Now, a moment ago, I asked that you please refrain from showing your support for the Fuqua Scholars until all the names were read. But I want to point out, this is a very different part of the ceremony, this very special moment, and I encourage you all to cheer for your graduates and to show your joy and support. If you wish to come forward to take a picture of your graduate, we also ask that you keep the way clear for the graduates so that they can enter and exit the stage smoothly. Thank you.
Samuel Shuwei Lin. Caitlin Rose Crispin. Kishore Nagula. Alexandra Andrego Adams. Marcus Aditya Adiviago. Michelle Advani. Sonal Gopal Agarwal. Afreen Alam. Sara Pilar Alam Ruiz. Eric R. Anderson. Jesse Rebecca Anderson. OJ Peter Anyanji. Samir Berry. Ashano Jason Byam. Leandro de Freitas Carrion. Madison Burns Cohn. Nicholas Adam Cox. Anthony Michael Donatelli. Andrew Sullins Dufresne. Richard Troy Dye. Kenneth Richard Ebeling. Christine Carol Ferguson. William Todd Finkbone. Curtis Mitchell Gardner. James Frank Gasparella. Stephen Zilong Hu. Wan Ting Huang. Alexandra Eve Gold. Adrian Groza. Aline Michelle Gruneisen. Brittany Dominique Hill. Dean Ho. Diego Alfonso Geno Salazar. Bryce Jermaine Jenkins. Shruti Kapoor. Robert Cassis. Evgeny Kulikov. Sandeep Koshera. Vikrant Lal. Coralie A. Lanalong. Michael Caton Levy. Veronica Wenyan Lee. Yu Lee. Randy Michelle Larson. Brent Robert Magna. Becca Danielle Mackover. Michael Anthony Marchetto. Bruno Macera. Chelsea Elaine McDaniel. Claudia Paula Mego Canta. Maria Camila Mendoza. Jeffrey Thomas Mahako. Megan Christine Millard. Sohil Modi. Claire Joanna Mollering. Vijay Mutala. Jaime Obreros Zagara. Jennifer Ray Oliver. Joel A. Ortiz. Jason Allen Aussie. Matthew Richard Papa. Kelsey Owens Peterson. Jennifer Ann Kensock Petoskey. Daniel C. Porcaro. Francis Joseph Pudner. Fahad Allah Qureshi. Mohammed Faizor Rahman. Iban Alexandro Ramil Flores. Emily Margaret Rast. Catherine Elizabeth Reed. Ilya Richter. Christopher Allen Rotter. Alexander Michael Rubin. Devika Shrimal. Michael Robert Sums. Karthik Suresh Kumar. Monica Tang. Vish Tella. Carl Frederick Andreas Weston. Aurora Lang Winslade. Brenda Wu. Nan Shu. Mark Joseph Yannick. Kostya Sabratsky.
Congratulations to the cross-continent Cross-Continent Class of 2015. At this time, I would like to ask Megan M. DeLuca, Program Manager for the Weekend Executive Class of 2015, to come forward and read the names of the graduates. Again, we ask the graduates to file up to the stage on your right, and as your name is called, please accept your scroll and our congratulations.
Stephanie Grace Vanderpool. Venkata Suresh Kumar Alapati. Lake Long. Manish Ahuja. Marcus Arellano. Adam Lewis Batters. Ryan Colin Baker. Gaurav Bansal. Paulina Donetta Bolton. Michael Allen Braswell. Jason Bergoglio. Christian Butner. Brandon Mark Bullock. Lucas John Campbell. Barka Chahardri. Harsha Kodinya Chiruko. Ross James Christie. Evan Chris Casantoros. Giovanni Gallon Reyes. Sarang Gutpandi. Shashir Gia. Jeffrey Allen Glenn. Anand Kumar Gupta. Margaret Ann Holloland. Zulfi Hamid. Kathleen Barry Heron. Daniel Hohenfield. James Vincent Hunter. Naren Jane. Jennifer Welker Jefferson. Matthew Aaron Johnson. Nishant Basil Canapilli. Kiran Kushar Koshik. Christopher Ryan Kelly. Ashu Kohli. Sriram Krishnan. Rohit Lohan. Johnny D. Lyles. Katua Nadakamari Madhusudan. Lakan Abraham Bababiola. Megan A. Morazes. Enrique Martinez. Christian Talbot Macaulay. David Shane McCarroll. Cynthia Jo McNabb. Syed Abrar Mahedi. Kenneth Allen Melchior. Monica Mendez. Daniel Christian Minor. Andrew James Owens. Jyoti Prakash Mahapatra. Shivaram S. Mysore. Kasava Nagar Anthal. Arun Rao Namala. Henry Yates Parker. Kamwar Gaurav Paul. Jennifer Marie Perkins. Dinesh Kumar Perumal. William John Piper III. Amanda Elizabeth Leong Rogers. Aravind Sampath. Anita Sakar. Marcus Garkinti. Subitam Sen. Devang Shah. Zia Shakir. Nitin Sharma. Srinivas Shastri. Denny Singh. Sam Sultani. Ashvik Karthik Tatakamala. Reni Tikavila Katu. Anil Thomas. Brian An Tu Tron. Shirath Chandar Venkatesan. Amit Vora.
Congratulations to the Weekend Executive Class of 2015. At this time, I would like to ask Monica M. Catalano, Assistant Director for the Global Executive Class of 2016, to come forward and read the names of the graduates. Again, we ask the graduates to file up to the stage on your right. As your name is called, please accept your scroll and our congratulations.
Suresh Kumar Lockenpaul. Nathan Scott Smith. Jennifer Jacqueline Preston. Eduardo Asher. Rafael Carnero Agosto. Adnan Buta. Kirsten Marie Castillo. Jeannie Cho. Leon De Brown. Cesar del Castillo de Pando. Rahul Sudhir Gotge. Casey Klaus Kahn. Renat Azatovich Halimov. Jens Krugman. Joseph Marvin Leifer. Thomas Neil McFadden. David Gerald Postel. Aaron Sean Poynton. Nikhil Puri. Shannon Alston Rush. Christopher Matthew Sackno. Ryan Douglas Storgard. Regina Verastagi. Jeffrey John Warziniak. Janelle Lynn Whalen. Jack White.
Congratulations to the Global Executive Class of 2016.
This concludes the presentation of the graduates. If you could now please join me in congratulating the cross-continent class of 2015, the weekend executive class of 2015, and the global executive class of 2016. We're almost done here. And so I ask the friends and family to please remain in their seats until the faculty and students have all recessed out of the building. And then I hope that everyone will come together in the Fox Center to continue the celebration. But before we start to leave, I'd like to ask the graduates to all please stand. So I'd like to speak directly to the graduates, recognizing that we need to thank the many people who are here, again, to support you and who have made this journey possible, but this is your day. And I want to thank you for getting yourselves in the position to be here today. And I want to thank you for giving so much to the school during your time here to make sure that not only would you maximize your experience, but make sure the school gets better. Because if we get better, you get better. And so I thank you for everything that you've given to the school. I'm not sure I thank the Global Executive Class for those blue pants. They were memorable, but I hope that you cleaned out the inventory. Having thanked you, I'd like to make 4 requests of you. And I'm not going to be asking you for money. I will be asking you for money in the years that follow, but not right now. But I'd like to be sure that you do the following things. The first one is, please, even though this is your day, please show your appreciation for all those people who supported you, who helped you on your journey. All of you clearly are a little bit crazy because you could not embark on the path that you've chosen without some degree of craziness. But in that craziness, you had to have people that supported you and made it possible to arrive at this day. Some of them are here with you today. I'm sure many of them can't be with you today. Please take the time to thank them, to show your appreciation for everything they've done, and do that often. The second thing that I'd like to ask of you is to stay connected to the school. If you think about how we get better, it's because of the people that have come through and give back. And they give back in terms of sharing their experiences, their insights, their mentoring, their networking. And we really need you to stay connected to the school in order to truly benefit the students who will follow you. Think about all the people, the alums who preceded you, and how they enriched your experience. We now, in turn, hope for the same from you. The third request I have is one where you will probably say, of course we'll do that. The request is, stay connected to each other. And in this moment, I'm sure you're thinking, well, that's obvious. We love each other. We got ourselves through this experience together, and it was so much richer, so much more interesting because of the people that surround you. But here's the thing. Once you leave this place, life will come at you fast. And it will be really easy to let the relationships that you've developed during this time to dissipate. Every relationship takes work, and you cannot take for granted that these bonds that you've created, which are so very strong, will continue to be strong unless you put in the work. You've gotten unbelievable value out of each other for a couple of years, year and a half, 2 years. Imagine what you can get over the course of your lifetime. All of you have so much to give to each other, and I hope that you work on keeping those relationships strong. The last thing I ask of you is what you do with your lives post-Fuqua. We have a high standard in expecting that our graduates will go forward and make a difference in their lives, that they'll make a difference in the lives of others. And so as you think about what it is that comes next, I have a very simple but very demanding request of you, which is to go out and be happy. And when I say be happy, I want you to enjoy your lives. I want you to feel good about the choices that you make and feel like you're making a positive difference. But when I talk about happiness, what I really want is for you to achieve full happiness. Full happiness occurs when you leave nothing on the table, when you give your all, when you pursue excellence in everything that you do, and pursue excellence in making the people around you better. And so if you achieve true happiness, I guarantee you, you will also achieve success. And so what I wish for you is a life of success and significance, because that is true happiness. And if you're happy, we're happy. So thank you all so much. Thanks again to all the people here with us today who've made this such a special day, and let's continue to celebrate. Let's get the show on the road here. Thank you all.